Let's face it, retirement is supposed to be the finish line, the point where decades of hard work finally pay off. Yet for millions of people, it's not a celebration, it's a crisis. Across the country, more and more people are reaching retirement age with little to no savings. And the most shocking part, it's not just about low income or bad luck. The real story is much deeper. The silent retirement crisis is here, and it's affecting everyone, whether you're in your 20 seconds, 40 seconds, or even closing in on retirement right now. What most people don't realize is that the retirement system wasn't built to protect you. It was built to assume you would plan ahead, but when you mix in rising living costs, debt, and financial pressure, that planning almost never happens. So millions hit retirement with no safety net. But it doesn't stop there. The hidden costs of life quietly drain people before they ever get the chance to save. Credit card interests, student loans, rising rents, car payments, all of these things eat away at income until there's almost nothing left. Add in inflation, which makes your money worth less every single year, and suddenly the future looks a lot scarier. By the time people realize this, they're in their 50s or 60s, and playing catch-up is almost impossible. Then comes the toughest truth. Lifestyle choices and financial habits matter far more than most people want to admit. It's not about skipping the occasional coffee. It's about building discipline with your money. Too often, people choose short-term comfort over long-term security. They think, I'll start saving next year, but next year never comes. Retirement doesn't wait for anyone. It shows up whether you're ready or not. So how do you avoid becoming another statistic? The answer isn't glamorous, but it works. Live below your means, invest consistently, even if it's small, and start as early as you can. Build multiple streams of income so you're not just relying on one job or one investment account. Automate your savings, treat it like a non-negotiable bill, and protect yourself from lifestyle creep, the tendency to spend more as you earn more. Because here's the bottom line. No one wants to work into their 70 seconds just to cover rent and groceries. But that's the reality for millions who ignored the warning signs. The good news, if you're hearing this now, you still have time. The future you want is built by the choices you make today. The silent retirement crisis is one of the biggest financial challenges of our time, yet it rarely gets the attention it deserves. Millions of people reach retirement age with little to no savings, and the situation is far more common than most realize. On the surface, it might seem like this only happens to people who didn't indeed earn much money in their lifetime, but that's not the full picture. The truth is, even people who made decent incomes often end up with nothing when it's time to retire. This happens because the system itself was never designed to guarantee financial security. It assumes that individuals will plan ahead, save, and invest on their own. But with the rising costs of housing, healthcare, education, and basic living expenses, many people simply don't have much left over at the end of the month to put aside. Over time, this lack of savings compounds into a major crisis. The numbers are staggering. Surveys show that a significant percentage of retirees have less than a few $1,000s saved, and many rely entirely on Social Security as their only source of income. But the problem is, Social Security was never intended to be the primary retirement plan. It was meant as a supplement. That means millions of retirees are essentially trying to survive on an income that barely covers rent, let alone medical expenses, food, or unexpected emergencies. It creates a situation where people who should be enjoying the freedom of retirement are instead living paycheck to paycheck, stressed about how to make ends meet. What makes this crisis silent is that it doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, almost invisibly, over decades. Someone might think, I'll start saving later when I make more money, or I'll catch up once I pay off debt, but time is the one resource you can't buy back. By waiting too long, people miss out on the power of compounding, where small, consistent investments grow into significant wealth over decades. Without that early start, catching up becomes nearly impossible, even with higher contributions later in life. The retirement crisis is silent because it sneaks up on people. Most don't realize they're unprepared until it's too late. They worked for decades, but without a plan, they end up facing a reality they never expected, having to delay retirement, live with family, or take low-paying jobs in their later years just to survive. This isn't a small problem. It's a growing epidemic that affects millions, and understanding it is the first step to avoiding it. The hidden costs that drain retirement savings are one of the most underestimated reasons why people end up with little or nothing when they reach their later years. On paper, saving for retirement seems simple. Put aside a portion of your income, invest it, and let it grow. But real life gets in the way. Every stage of adulthood comes with financial obligations that quietly eat away at what could have been savings. These costs don't always feel like luxuries. They're often basic necessities, but they add up to a massive drag on long-term wealth. Take debt, for example. Credit card balances with high interest rates are one of the biggest wealth destroyers. Someone carrying just a few $1,000s of credit card debt and making minimum payments can easily end up paying double or triple the original amount over time. Instead of money going into a retirement account where it compounds, it's going straight into the pockets of lenders. Student loans are another culprit. Millions of people spend decades paying off education costs, which delays their ability to save or invest. Add car loans, mortgages, and personal loans, and you have a constant stream of payments that keep retirement savings on the back burner. Then there's the rising cost of living. Housing prices and rent have gone up dramatically, especially in major cities where many jobs are concentrated. Healthcare expenses also climb steadily, and for families, child-related costs, from daycare to college tuition, can consume huge portions of income. Even inflation, which feels invisible, is a hidden cost that chips away at purchasing power every single year. What feels affordable today may become a burden tomorrow, making it harder and harder to set money aside. Another overlooked factor is lifestyle creep. As people earn more, they naturally start spending more, upgrading homes, cars, vacations, or gadgets. While it may not feel like wasteful spending in the moment, it often prevents them from building the savings cushion they desperately need. Over time, those choices add up. And by the time retirement approaches, people realize that years of earnings were consumed by expenses that left nothing behind. The danger of these hidden costs is that they're gradual and constant. No one wakes up one day broke from one expense. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And because these costs seem normal, people don't notice how much they're delaying their financial future until decades have passed. Recognizing and controlling these hidden drains is critical, because without addressing them, even the best intentions for retirement savings can be completely wiped out. How you live day to day has a bigger impact on your retirement than most people want to admit. Lifestyle choices and financial habits don't just influence your comfort in the moment, they shape your entire future. The hard truth is that many people aren't retiring with little or no savings because they never had the chance. It's because they consistently chose short-term satisfaction over long-term security. And while this may sound harsh, it's the reality that defines the gap between those who are financially free and those who struggle well into old age. One of the biggest culprits is procrastination. People convince themselves that they'll start saving later, after they pay off debt, after they buy a house, after they get that raise. The problem is, later rarely comes. Life always finds a way to create new expenses. The discipline of saving isn't about waiting for the perfect time. It's about creating the habit regardless of circumstances. Without that, retirement savings are pushed off year after year until it's too late to catch up. Spending habits also play a huge role. Many underestimate how much small, consistent overspending adds up. It's not about a single dinner out or a new phone. It's about the mindset that prioritizes consumption over saving. Every dollar spent on non-essentials is a dollar that could have been invested, compounding quietly in the background. Over decades, those missed opportunities grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost wealth. The tragedy is that most people never make this connection until they see the numbers years later. Another key lifestyle factor is the tendency to live at or above one's means. As income grows, instead of using that increase to build wealth, many people immediately upgrade their lifestyle. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's a silent killer of retirement plans. Bigger houses, nicer cars, and luxury purchases feel rewarding in the short term, but they come at the cost of financial independence down the road. People often assume they'll be able to save more when they earn more, but unless habits change, higher income simply leads to higher spending. Ultimately, retirement outcomes aren't determined solely by what you earn, but by what you keep and how you grow it. Good financial habits, consistent saving, disciplined investing, avoiding unnecessary debt, and resisting lifestyle creep make the difference between retiring comfortably and working out of necessity at an age when you should be resting. Your future self is entirely dependent on the habits you build today. Avoiding the fate of retiring with little or no savings doesn't require luck or a high-paying job. It requires strategy, discipline, and consistency. The truth is, no matter where you start, there are practical steps that can dramatically improve your financial outlook and keep you from becoming another statistic. The key is to take control early, build habits that prioritize saving, and use every tool available to let your money work for you. The first and most important step is to live below your means. This sounds simple, but it's the foundation of financial security. Too many people treat income as permission to spend, when in reality, income should be viewed as an opportunity to save. If you can create even a small gap between what you earn and what you spend, you open the door to investing, and that's where true wealth is built. Automating this process makes it even more powerful. By setting up automatic transfers into a retirement account or investment account, Saving becomes non-negotiable, just like paying a bill. Next, investing consistently is critical. Waiting until you have enough to start investing is one of the biggest mistakes people make. Even small amounts grow significantly over decades because of compound interest. The earlier you start, the less you need to contribute later to reach the same goal. For example, saving just a few dollars a day in your 20s can add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars by retirement. The key isn't timing the market, it's time in the market. Consistency beats perfection every time. Another powerful strategy is creating multiple streams of income. Relying solely on a single job or paycheck is risky, especially when unexpected expenses or job loss can derail savings. Building side hustles, passive income through investments, or even small businesses can provide financial stability and accelerate your retirement contributions. Every additional dollar earned outside your main income source can be directed toward your future instead of being consumed by your present lifestyle. Finally, you must guard against lifestyle creep. As income rises, resist the temptation to inflate your spending. Instead, lock in your savings rate and let your wealth grow. Remember, every dollar spent on unnecessary upgrades today is a dollar your future self won't have when it matters most. By adopting these strategies, living below your means, automating savings, investing consistently, diversifying income, and resisting lifestyle inflation, you give yourself the best chance at financial freedom. Retirement doesn't have to be a struggle. With intentional choices made today, you can create a future where you're not just surviving, but thriving.